Last Sunday, we brought you thoughts from folks attending an honor ride hosted by Midwest Honor Flight. One of those folks was Vietnam veteran Kevin Meilenberg. Sadly, he died Tuesday morning from ALS complications. Reporter Carter Schmidt looks at Meilenberg's wide-ranging legacy.
Kevin Meilenberg received an ALS diagnosis in 2017.
He got through it and he just kept going, and when I was having hard days, he would be like, "Punk, you got this, you're a strong woman." He called me Punk. That's my nickname. And when he would have his hard days, and especially towards the end with his ALS, when he would have his emotional moments, I was like, "You know what, Dad, you've got this."
He enlisted with the Army after his high school graduation in 1969. He served in Vietnam in 1970 and 1971 and was honorably discharged a year later.
Well, the first memories of my uncle was when he came back from Vietnam and working on the family farm, and a proud owner of his 72 Nova, which he bought recently and restored it.
Kevin joined the Army National Guard in 1989. He served in Iraq in 2003 and 2004. Again, he was honorably discharged. His nephew Tony served there at the same time.
And I knew that he was in Iraq with his unit, and just looking for him, and I finally found his unit at Baghdad International Airport about 6 months after the actual invasion, and saw his truck, and he's on the hood of it, and his unit pointed to Pappy. That's how they referred to him, since he was the old guy of the unit.
Pappy was involved with the American Legion and the ALS Association. He also went on a Midwest Honor Flight in 2019.
And he put his heart and soul into making sure that other veterans from Vietnam and World War II and Korea were able to utilize the Honor Flight, and making sure that people recognize the impact of ALS, but how his spirit couldn't be limited by it.
When he got ALS, he didn't let it bother him. He moved on, and he just basically accepted it and did the best that he could. And he was very loving with his family and his daughter and granddaughters.
He said, "I want to be buried at the new Veterans Cemetery."
That will happen on July 1st. Kevin's wife, Jannie, who precedes him in death, will be buried with him.
It'll be quite an honor to see him, to get his wishes, and to have Jannie buried there with him as well.
It's very special, and I didn't realize that it was going to be this soon, but it's going to be an honor.